our journey to understand Malaysian legal system,
We explore two different cases in two different courts.
the first case involves
In Kuching, Sarawak, Jong Yok Fong tells his mother he was injured by his father. She reports it to social welfare. The court orders the child placed in a safe home under the Child Protection Act. But the father disagrees and appeals. But the High Court says there is no criminal charge, so this isn't a criminal case. In Malaysia, only criminal courts can punish. Protection court only focus on safety. So the appeal is dismissed. The child stay protected.
The second case involved
In 2011, Mohammed Marzuki had a road accident. He sued the other driver. In 2013, Marzuki won. The court dismissed all third-party claims. The court said the defendant must pay costs at the third parties, but it didn't say how much or when. 7 years later, they tried to claim, was it still valid? The court explained 6 years is the limit. Missing the deadline means the court might reject the claim. Timing matters.
The case teaches one thing: don't wait too long. Justice needs action, not delay.
The case originated and was heard in the Court for Children, also known as the Juvenile Court. This specialized court deals with children either in need of care or those who are in conflict with the law. Jurisdiction was based on civil law under the Child Act 2001. The case involved no criminal charge, even though the child had been injured by a family member. The primary jurisdiction was to issue a child protection order to safeguard the welfare of the child. The court ordered that the child be placed in a safe home until the age of 18. The court had the authority to investigate the child's home environment, determine if the child was in need of protection, issue care or protection orders as per Section 30 of the Child Act 2001. Yes, a jurisdictional challenge occurred when the father appealed the order. The appeal was made to a higher court, possibly the High Court, arguing that the order had a criminal implication. However, the higher court dismissed the appeal, ruling that the order was not criminal as no charge was filed against the father. The child protection order was a civil remedy meant for safety, not punishment. Therefore, criminal courts had no jurisdiction, and the Court for Children retained full authority over the matter. The case originated in the Sessions Court. Plaintiff Mohammed Marzuki filed a civil suit for negligence after a car accident in 2011. The Sessions Court heard all witness testimonies and examined evidence. Civil jurisdiction under the Courts of Judicature Act 1964 and Subordinate Courts Act 1948. The Sessions Court can hear civil claims up to Rm 1 million. In this case, the court ruled in favor of Mohammed Marzuki, found the defendants liable for the accident, ordered them to pay damages and legal costs to third parties. The defendant's counterclaim against third parties was dismissed. No jurisdictional conflict in deciding liability or issuing the judgment. However, delays occurred in the enforcement of cost awards owed to third parties. The defendants appealed, trying to set aside the cost payment orders. The court explained it had jurisdiction to enforce its decisions. There was a statutory time limit of 6 years to claim enforcement of court costs. Further delays could cause the third parties to lose their right to claim.
I am Siti Azura binti Gulam Rasul. I'm a litigation lawyer from Mrs. Robert David & Co.
First question is, was justice effectively delivered? Was the decision fair in both cases?
Timing and fairness, in both cases, the justice was effectively delivered and the decision was fair in both cases.
Okay. Second question is, how well did the system address the issue in each case? What was the strength and weakness?
my opinion, I don't find the court has any delay in enforcing the issues or addressing the issues, because for the negligence cases, the session court went directly into the point, which is the delay in enforcement of the judgment by the plaintiff. Whereas for the appeal case or the juvenile case, the court directly went into section 307 sub 1, which the court has to look at for any appeal to be satisfied.
Based on your experience with both cases, how would you compare the effectiveness and the efficiency of the juvenile court versus the session court?
Based on my experience with both type of cases, both courts has different jurisdiction, whereas the civil court has jurisdiction of civil claims, liabilities, and they award damages and specific performances. Whereas juvenile court, it has totally different jurisdiction where they address the juvenile crimes, criminal matters done by minors under 18, and they are a bit more protective. They are not there to punish the children, but they are more there to rehab the minors. So in my opinion, both cases did serve justice for the appeal as well as for the negligence, because they interpreted the case based on their jurisdiction, based on what the cause of action is. So even though in the appeal, the appeal did not come up with a criminal cause of matter, whereas for the enforcement of judgment in the negligence matter, there's total different jurisdiction. So I think the court did serve the justice at its best.
The dual court system, which separates civil and criminal matters into different courts, such as juvenile court, court of children, and then section court, can both help and complicate access to justice. In the child protection case, the juvenile court focused on welfare rather than punishment, which allowed the child to be protected swiftly without needing to prove criminal guilt. This ensures vulnerable individuals, especially minors, receive immediate safety measures. However, for the father, the dual system become confusing. He tried to appeal the order under criminal law, misunderstanding that child protection orders are civil in nature. This shows how real people can be confused about where to appeal, how to navigate the system, especially without legal guidance. In the section court negligence case, victims like Muhammad Marzuki benefit from a civil court focus on compensation and accountability, but delays in enforcing the court orders show how systematic inefficiencies in civil court process, like cost recovery and execution, can deeply frustrate real people even after they win a case.
In the child protection case, better legal education and clearer communication with the father could have prevented mistaken appeal under the criminal law. It may help court if it provide more accessibility legal explanation or assign social workers like aid officer to ensure parents understand their right and the court's procedure. For the traffic accident case, a legal system could improve by strengthening enforcement mechanism. Although the session court delivered a fair judgment, the long delay in cost payment indicates a lack of urgency and enforcement tracking. The law introduced stricter deadlines and automate enforcement that proceeded to ensure compliance and reduce the burden on winning parties who still struggle to receive what the court granted.